Hello everyone. Welcome you all to Pamten's YouTube channel. So in today's session, we'll start off a journey into the field of web development. So in this particular session, we'll learn about the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then we'll create a clone of the Zerodha website. So we'll build the UI of it. Now, how do you build a website? Well, you'll need three fundamental things, which will be HTML, then you'll need something called as CSS, and then finally you need something called as JavaScript. And now, assume that you're building a house. So first, you'd need brick and mortar to build the structure of the house. So there, HTML is what you'll need. So you'll build the structure of the website. Then you'll need CSS, with which you'll have the aesthetics, so the color, the size of the website. And then finally, you have functionality, which comes from JavaScript. So basically, when you click on something, it should redirect you to something, right? So when I click here on Google search, it will open this up. And this functionality is provided by JavaScript. Similarly, let's say you're building a house, you have a switch to light on a bulb, and when you click on that switch, the light turns on. So this is the functionality of JavaScript. Your house, your brick and mortar structure, that is HTML, and your aesthetics of the house, that is CSS. So these are the basics of your website development. And then I'll just go ahead and click on inspect over here. So what I did was I right clicked and then I selected inspect. And this, what you see is the HTML page. Your HTML and this over here is CSS. So mostly it comprises of, it starts with your HTML tag and then you would have this body tag where everything goes in. Inside the body, you will have multiple div statements. So that is basically division. So division basically takes up one division or one line in your website. So this is how your HTML page would look like. Now, what I'd want to do is I'll just type in Zerodha over here. I'll open their home page and I'd want to create a clone of this, or basically I'd want to create the UI, the front end part of this. So for that, we will need an IDE, and that IDE will be Visual Studio Code. So you can just type in download Visual Studio Code, and then this over here is what you get. Since I'm using a Windows system, I would have to click over here. So irrespective of whatever OS you're using. So if you're using a Mac, you can download VS Code for Mac. If you're using Linux, you can download VS Code for Linux and so on. So this is how you can download this integrated development environment. And I have it open over here now. And this is inside my documents and I have a folder called as web dev. Inside this, I'll create a new folder and I'll call it as Zerodha, and I'll open this folder with VS Code. So here I have this show more options, and here I will have an option to open with code. And this is what I've done over here. So I have this Zerodha folder, and I'll also open up my terminal. Until then, what I want to do is, this is the Zerodha website. Since I'd have to recreate this, I would need these two images. So I'll just say here, save image as, and then I'll save this in the Zerodha folder, which I've just created. Similarly, I'd also want to download this. So save image as, and then I'm saving it in the same folder as well. And as you see, so I would have this in the Zerodha folder. Now, going ahead, what I'd want to do is I'd want to create an index.html file. So when you're creating a website, all of your HTML generally goes into a file which has your basic nomenclature of index.html. Now let me go ahead and create that. So this is my terminal over here. Let me actually create a new terminal. Bash Zerodha. Okay, so this is already open. Now to create an index.html file through your command prompt, I can just type in touch index.html And you see that I've created this index.html file. And now, if you want your boilerplate code, all you have to do is just type in this exclamation mark and then hit a tab, and you will automatically get your boilerplate code. So basically, your HTML comprises of these two HTML tags. Inside that, you will have the head tag, and then most of your meat goes into the body tag. Now, if you'd want to run through your steps of building the website, what you can do is click on Run, Start Debugging, and then all of your changes can be visualized over here. So currently you have a blank canvas. So let's go ahead and create this beautiful website over here. So here, as you see, you have the Zerodha logo, and then you have all of these different options over here. Now, to build this, we'll use both HTML and CSS. So I'd have to place this on the left side and all these four on the right side. And for this, I'll be using divs or division. So I'll need one division. And inside this division, I shall have two children. So this would be the first child, and all of these combined would be the second child. So when you combine these two, that would be your one block. So I have one div over here, and I'll have another div below. Now inside this, if I want to include an image, I'll just say img src, and the source is this. So here, the name of the image is logo.svg, and inside this, again, I will have all of these different values. So sign up, about, products, pricing, and support. And I'd actually want all of them to be in one single line. But what will happen is, if you're using a div, as I've told you, one div itself takes up the entire space. Now, let's actually see what will happen now. So here, this would be your first child. This would be your second child. Inside this, I'll create 5 children more. Div 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let me remove the extra tabs over here. Let me have proper spacing. And inside this, this would be sign up, about, products. So I'll type in sign up, about, then I shall have products. Going ahead, I have pricing and support. So I'll type in pricing, and also I shall type in support. I have saved this. I'll open up this test space, and you see that here what is happening is, this is my, so I have two divs over here. In the first div, this image takes up the place, and in the second div, all of these come in. But this is not what I want, right? First div, this image takes up the place, and in the second div, I have all of these values. So one child, but I do not want it like this. I want this to be on the right side of it, and all of these in one line as well. Now, to do that, so this is a child, this is a child. So what I'd have to do is, I'd have to include these two children in one div. So I'll take this entire thing. Let me copy this or cut this over here and paste them inside. And let me add another tab over here. And now I've added these two inside one parent. And for that, I'll use style. So style is where our CSS comes in. Inside this, we have something called as flex grid. So I'll say flex display and set the display to be flex. Now, with the help of this, what will happen is, these children, so whatever is present inside this display, the children will be present in one single line. I've saved that, and here, as you see, this and this are aligned in one line, right? So this is your parent, and inside this parent you have two children, and both of them are present on one single line. And now I do not want it like this. I want it on the left side, and I want this on the right side. Okay, let's do this. So here I want to add some space in between. So to add space, I have this parameter called as justify content, and I'll say justify content to be center. This would actually be space between. So I will give in some space between this and this. Now also this seems to be like a really big image. So I do not want this to be so big. What I'll do is this image, I'll set the width to be around, let's say 30 pixels. I'll save it and I'll refresh it. Okay, 30 seems to be way too small. Let me change it to be the double of it, 60. Let's see how does it look. Okay, this is still too small. Now here, what we can do is if we want the approximate size of this, I can click on inspect. Again, I click on inspect here. And here, as you see, the width is 150 pixel for this particular image. So you can directly open the website and see the actual attribute values which are present for this CSS. So that is 150. And I'll change this to 150. And we should have a proper structure now. So 0 the and this. Now again, all of this, I want them to be in a single line. So all of these are children for this parent. And if I want all of the children to be in one single line, again, I'll do the same thing. Style. This would be display flex. And then let me refresh this. As you see, this is what you have. And then I just need some spacing between all of these children. So to add spacing, I have something called as padding. So between each element, I can add some padding so that they are apart. So here, style, and what I need is padding. I'll probably give in 10 pixel. Let me copy this from here and paste it for all of the cells. So div style padding is 10 pixel. Let me refresh this again. And you see, we have all of these aligned in the same line. So we are getting the structure, right? So this is what is there, and this is what we've built so far. Now I need to add this image and also add this text. So let's do that. Okay, so we have this till now. Now what I'll do is I'll add another div block, and inside this I'll add the landing page. Okay, so here div, and then again I'll set style, display, flex, and then I want the image to be in center. So I'll say justify content is center, image, the source is landing.png, and I'll set the size of this. So let's say the width would be around 750, and then the height will set it to be around 400 pixel, and let's see how does it look. Okay, so the height seems to be a bit distorted. Let's reduce the height a bit. Let's make it 380, and let's see how does it look now. Okay, so this seems decent enough. Let's actually reduce this a bit even more. Let's make it 370. Okay, so this seems to be better. So this is what you have in the original one, and this is what we've made so far. Okay, now I need to add these two. Let's add that. So I'll again take a division, and inside this, I'll probably have one H1, and I'll have a H3. So these are your header tags. So H1 is your oldest header. H3 would be 2 levels below it. H3. So H1 is invest in everything. I'll copy this and I'll paste it over here. And then H3 is this. I'll copy this. And again, I can just paste it over here. Right. And then we have to align it in the center. So style, display, flex, and then going ahead, I'll say justify content, and I'd have to justify this in the center. We've done this. Now, finally, I need to add a button as well. Okay, let me save this over here. And let me refresh this. So this is what you have. So this is not yet adjusted properly. Okay, so we'll do that. So this. Okay, I actually want this one below other. So I'll not actually use the display flex. I'll just use justify center and let me refresh this. So this is coming over here. Okay, so instead of this, what I can actually do is use the center tag. Remove this center. I'll also remove this div from here. I'll cut this and I'll paste it over here. I'll save it and we have this in the center. And then finally, I need to add a button. I'll use a div and then here, what do I need? I need to set the style and then display. This will be flex and also justify content. This will be in center. And then I need to add a button in this. And this button says sign up for free. So let me just add that over here. Sign up for free. And here, if I want the exact styles of this, again, I'll say inspect. I'll click on this button, inspect. So this is the button over here. So these are all of the values. So background, let me see if this is actually, these are the correct values. Right. So these are the correct values for the button. So this is the background color. Let me copy this and then I'll just say style. And then I need to add a background color and that background color will be this. And then color of the text. So color of the text is just white. You can just copy this and then I'll say color. We also added color. Next up, what do we need? So we need the border. So these are the, so this is the border size. Is it solid or dotted? And then the color of the border. So I'll copy this from here and set it for the border. So I'll say border is this. Okay. Let me save this and let's see how does it look for now. Okay. We're almost there. And then I need the border radius, which is 3 pixel. Let me add that. So this will be border radius and that would be equal to 3 pixel. And then what else is left here? We need the padding for this, which is 10 pixel and 30 pixel. Let's also add that. So I'll say padding is 10 pixel and 30 pixel. Save, refresh. Have we saved this properly? Let's see. Border is this. Refresh. So seems like this is not yet saved properly. Let's see what is the issue. These two are set. Border radius 3 pixel. Okay, we have that. Padding 10 pixel and 30 pixel. Padding 10 pixel, 30 pixel. So this is actually 1 and not 10. Probably that was the mistake which you're doing. And now let me refresh this. Okay, this is good. And then what else is left here? So border radius, and then we'll probably need the border values. So these are the border values over here. Okay, let me inspect this again. Let me see this, click on this, inspect, and then I would need this. And let's create the border attribute. So border would be equal to this. So we've set everything. Let's refresh this. And then we've created the UI for the Zerodha website. So this, friends, is the original website. It looks like this. And this is what we've created in under half an hour. Right? So this was introduction to web development. If you find this informative, do like the video, do also subscribe to our channel, and I'll meet you in the next one. Thank you.